Great. Well, hey, good afternoon, guys. How are you doing today?
Living the dream.
Yeah. Well, it's afternoon, almost the weekend here, so excited to enjoy some fall weather.
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys joining. Like I mentioned, I just wanted to kind of chat a little bit, pick your brains a little bit about what's going on in the environment today. And I got a couple specifics just around the SecOps today. So I hope you guys don't mind, but I just had, like I said, I had a couple questions, want to dig into it a little bit. So,
Yeah.
What are some of the biggest challenges in 2022 with SecOps?
Sure. So there's a lot of things actually, Eric. So SecOps is kind of a relatively new focus for a lot of teams out there.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of talent. There's not a lot of training, I should say, right? So there's a lack of people that are specifically trained on, some of these SecOps things. Another thing recently has been the impact of COVID. So you've got a lot of people working remote, and
Yeah.
you really need to get teams together. So that leads to higher, metrics like mean time to acknowledge, mean time to join when you're trying to get the teams together. Um, you need stakeholder communications, other types of communication, kind of a lot of plates in the air, if you will. Um, there could be specific escalations going on that need to happen. A lot of times, what happens with remote is when people are working from home, oftentimes they're missing some of the critical alerts. And then what's always been a problem with SecOps, which is similar to just alerting in general, is alert fatigue, alert prioritization. If the monitoring and the alerting is not done right, people will be bombarded with alerts that have no action. They're more like warnings. So then what happens is they start to ignore them.
All right. So, what would you say what's been one of the biggest bottlenecks? Like, I know you listed a few things there, but what would you say the biggest one is?
It's probably the alert volume, the alert fatigue, and maybe the lack of training.
Gotcha. So, I mean, where would you say those essentially stem from? Like, what are some of the main causes of those, like to begin with?
Well, so again, monitoring needs to be done right. So there's got to be a lot of systems in place to detect when there's a problem, and then actually, you really need to get good at identifying where a problem is, because sometimes it could be that there are things that are indicating a problem and that could be much more serious than people think about it, right? So there's a tendency for people to come in to be more reactive. Teams are getting involved after the fact when the horses left the barn. So a lot of it, I think, comes back down to training, and having the right kind of tools in place, having the right kind of training. It's a little bit different than typical operations. There's some similarities, but again, it comes down to more specific kinds of training and specific tools. A lot of awareness too. What we're hearing too is a lot of times, sometimes the cause of SecOps issue is, the causes could be internal. In other words, it could be things that are inside the system, systems that are compromised. Really, if you think about people working remotely, then now you need to worry about all these edge computer systems being protected, as well as your office systems. So there's kind of a lot of causes, I would say.
Gotcha. No, that makes sense. Another one of the buzzwords I keep hearing, or not buzzwords, but more initials, is AI and ML. Like, how do you factor all that into the entire process?
Sure, Cam, you want to take that one?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, obviously, you can't read an article without about tech in today's day and age without having machine learning or artificial intelligence thrown somewhere in there. But I think that security and incident response as a whole are one of the areas that we're starting to see machine learning actually provide a substantial value add. Right. When there is a security incident, obviously one of the things that you do is potentially isolate your device from the network and then ensure that you can go through and audit everything that happened. So AI really helps because there's a bunch of things connected there, right? So it's a mix of system, security, and application data, and being able to consolidate all that and have the algorithm sift through it makes it substantially more efficient. There's a few key ways, really, that AI and ML help streamline security incident response. One, obviously, speed. Right. So an ML machine learning algorithm can monitor millions of security events, millions of data points, and incident handling time is going to be uh, reduced due to proactive threat detection and minimal recovery time. Similarly, assigning the and classifying the actual incident in itself, right? What is the incident? And then what are the associated risks with this incident? Is it you can automate your vulnerability discovery, or you can automate engineering of social attacks and what processes to take to mitigate them. So there's quite a bit that you could do. It's just a matter of what type of threats your organization is most susceptible to, and where some of these actions might fit.
Gotcha. Has there been any big breaches lately?
Big, yeah, they're always happening. So, something interesting that I was reading was just from 2020 to 2021, there was a 300+% increase in malware attacks and 400+% increase in ransomware. So threats are increasing and they're becoming a lot more common. Just recently, in the past, like 10, 12 days, there was an issue. There was a threat with Cisco. There was a ransomware attack that had company data stolen. There was an attack with the Texas hospital system. U-Haul actually recently, about 10 days ago, had a breach that exposed customer driver's licenses, right? You rent a truck, all of a sudden you just gave your first identity away. So it's happening all the time. It's around us.
Oh, yeah, it's insane. Different world now. So cool. Well, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for the time. I know it was kind of high level bullet points, but you definitely cleared up a few things I had questions on. So appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon. Thanks, guys.
You too.